All right, we're back with our number 2017. If Larry Bird was dead, he'd be rolling over in his grave. But he's not dead. We're actually talking about him a lot later.
Celtics are killing him, though.
The Boston Celtics. Let's take a look at what they did in this offseason. They acquired Gerald Wallace, Humphries, Keith Brogans, it doesn't matter, Marshawn Brooks, Bellator, these foreigners, I tell you.
I'm going.
He's a foreigner.
Yes.
And Brad Stevens, the 37-year-old Butler coach, a good coach. They lost Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, the dunce of the class, Fab Melo, Terrence Williams, and they lost Doc Rivers as a coach. They drafted Kelly Olynyk, the Gonzaga center. One thing I will say about Danny Ainge, the writing was on the wall. Danny Ainge was going to lose his job if he would have kept that old squad together.
Yeah.
He preserved his own job because they got a steal. I think it's a steal to get the coach, Brad Stevens from Butler. I didn't think this guy was going to leave.
I didn't either.
But I think he's a good coach. I think the way the NBA is moving now, I think he fits right in, and I think he's going to get these guys to play. And I think that, at this point in time in Boston, the loss of Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, I don't think it was that significant.
No, I think this year would have been a swan song for them anyway.
Correct. They would have been going around shaking hands, kissing hands.
It was a final hurrah for them anyway. So, it was good for Ainge to just let them go a little earlier. Brad Stevens, I tend to disagree with you. Brad Stevens is a really good coach, but he's not like everybody else. He's this statistical, analytical guy that I would love to see succeed in the NBA because the NBA needs a new batch of head coaches.
Agreed. Well, they sure got a batch now. It's 13 of them. 13 new head coaches. That's almost half the league.
I think Ainge also set him up as far as he's a new coach. He came from college and they drafted Kelly Olynyk. I think that's going to work.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
A cornerstone. They're coming in together. I agree.
I think that's going to work.
Matter of fact, let's talk about the rotation. You have Kelly Olynyk as the starting center. You have Chris Humphries as the starting power forward. Jeff Green starting small forward. Avery Bradley starting shooting guard. And Rajon Rondo, when he comes back. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Rajon Rondo as the starting point guard. But until then, I believe that Courtney Lee will be getting an ample amount of playing time with Avery Bradley playing in the backcourt.
Actually, the starting lineup, from what I hear, is going to be Avery and then Jeff Green playing the two guards.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's still going to play the same position, but I hear Jeff Green is going to play that two guard. And then they're going to add in a really, really big lineup behind them that's going to rotate depending on however Brad Stevens see fit.
Cool. Well, the rest of the bench is Brandon Bass, Courtney Lee, Gerald Wallace, Jared Sullinger, and Marshawn Brooks. Man, I really like Marshawn Brooks. I liked him his rookie year.
Yeah.
I liked him in college, and I'm just not figuring. I don't understand what's going on as far as his growth. Is it him? Is it the systems he's been involved in? Because I thought when he went to Boston, this would be an opportunity for him, but it seems like he's not really high on their radar either.
Yeah, he's not high on their radar, nor is he even high on being a Celtic. I mean, if you guys remember seeing the faces on them when they was at the press conference, I mean, they looked dejected. It was like, man, y'all traded us. I mean, wow. And Marshawn Brooks should have been the one person that was like, yes, an opportunity, and he just wasn't. And I think it shows in his play, probably.
Guess what I find interesting is Rajon Rondo. And it's a lot of things what I find interesting. One, you have the injury. That's one that he had to be out for the rest of the season. And another thing is he don't have Doc Rivers in his back pocket no more. Doc Rivers is the one that actually gave him the ball and said...
Well, him and Doc bumped heads.
Yeah, they bumped heads, but Doc is still the same guy that says, you get the ball, You do your thing. That's what started the feud with Ray Allen not getting too many touches, and it went from him not getting too many touches to the hustling from Avery Bradley coming in as shooting guard to bring that defense, which resulted in Ray Allen coming off the bench. And that's when Ray Allen was saying, "Well, I'm not getting the touches that I'm supposed to get because Rondo don't pass the ball." Coming to find out, that's how Doc Rivers set it up. So he don't. Even though they were bumping heads, that's still his back pocket. We got a new coach. We got a new coach that's going against a guy that went to a championship, that have all these double doubles, that exceeded to get all these assists, telling him what listen to somebody that's telling him what to do when he's like, I lived it.
Yeah.
Well, I was doing some reading, a couple of dirt sheets just on the internet, but Rondo is trade bait.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Especially after injury. Definitely.
I wonder though, what do you think comes back to Boston for him? Like, what team you think will be interested, and what team, and what off that team you think will come back to Boston?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, I think first and foremost, Boston's looking for young pieces, and they're looking for draft picks. And I think they're going to give Brad Stevens the opportunity to succeed, and they're going to give him the opportunity to build his own team. So I don't see any great pieces, but you got to look at a team that has multiple draft picks as an opportunity to grab a Rajon Rondo, or even a team that might be able to be a catalyst to a three-way trade. I look at somebody like Dallas.
Oh, that stole my thought.
Dallas could be a really great team to make some kind of move because they want a center, but they also need a point guard. I think that Rondo could be a key piece for them to not only get a point guard, but if they want to flip Rondo into another trade for a center, they could do that. And they're also very willing to trade any kind of draft picks to make it happen because the one thing I like about Mark Cuban, he's about Dirk Nowitzki going out on top. Mm-hmm. So he looked like he's trying to do that. Boston could be that guy.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was actually thinking Rondo, I can envision seeing him in a Mavericks uniform.
Okay. I think the whole thought of last year with the whole rumors with him in the Thunder trade, that's out the window. They injury trumped that. They didn't only just trump that, they trumped a whole lot of other teams too. They're not going to take that risk off their injury. We don't know what he might do when he come back. We don't know that. Yeah. But it's a lot of teams not going to take that risk. Now, when you say draft picks, I agree with that. I mean, I think that would be a good move. Yeah. Definitely.
And you know what's funny? The more and more I think about that OKC and Boston trade, I actually think all of us is kind of silly to think that. Because I think a lot of us really minimize the importance of Westbrook.
Right.
And what he does for that team, I mean, wow. Like, they look like a fourth or fifth seed without him. So,
well, I think a lot of people dog out Westbrook is the simple fact that it's not that he can't pass. It's not that he can't play defense. He kind of have this, attitude. I can turn it on when I can turn it on. Where people just want him why don't you just turn it on? The guy has the ability to do it. He can play defense. He can give you assists. He can give you rebounds.
He has the potential to be the best point.
Well, he doesn't consistently do it, and I think that's where Rondo comes in. And actually, I know he's trade bait because he's the perfect person to trade and improve your team.
Nice
but if Brad Stevens wants to keep this guy, I mean, watch out. He might be a really nice Brad Stevens guy.
And he has a nice contract. I think he has like $11 million over the next 2 years.
Wow.
It's a nice contract. All right, player of interest. Who's that guy we need to look out for on this team?
For me, surprisingly, it's Chris Humphries. The reason I'm saying that is because Chris Humphries can score from the post. Chris Humphries can rebound. Chris Humphries, in my opinion, if you've seen Brad Stevens coach, is a Brad Stevens guy. Yeah. Whether or not he gets the opportunity, I know he's ruined his reputation in the NBA really good with his off-the-court things. But
I wish I was him for 20 minutes 3 years ago.
I mean, hey, Kim K is very nice, but I mean, she tore up his career, man. But if he is able to be humble and actually listen to Brad Stevens and be that guy that's right next to Brad Stevens, hey, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to learn? What do you want me to do? I think he could stick around in Boston and could actually earn some hearts with his hustle play. But That's all speculation. He's just an interesting guy for me to watch.
Oh, he actually reminds me of a throwback Celtic. Like
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Mine's gonna be Jeff Green. Reason being, of course, he got mad when he got traded to Boston, and he got to Boston for some strange reason. He thought he was gonna be a starter. His thing is, I want to play. I want to show people I can play. I am the star. You know, the star that I want people to think I am. This your shot. Rondo's out right now. Let's see what you can do.
That's a good one. Actually, when I look at this team, my player of interest is Olenek because
Ricky watch.
I think he has the potential to be a top rookie. But there were times in Gonzaga where I was just like, wow, this guy he can't handle talent.
Right.
You know. But what I like about him is he hustles. He works hard. You know, he's not just just out there just he's gonna work hard for you. So I'm interested to watch his growth in the NBA. Right. So this first year is gonna be very interesting to see when it comes to him. Final thoughts on the Boston Celtics.
Well, it's been a long time since you've seen the bottom. So you just got to start from scratch. There's no other way of putting it. I know I gave a lot of. I wasn't too sure about Kelly Olynyk until I started seeing him play summer league stuff like that. I'm like, okay. I mean, he came from Gonzaga, so I'm a dog here. But I mean, I'm actually interested in Boston. See how it's gonna turn out.
Boston started from the top. Now you're here. Kelly Olynyk, though, I think he has an opportunity to be Rookie of the Year, and he might be the lone bright spot because we don't know when Rajon Rondo's coming back.
The rumor is he may sit out the whole year.
Yeah.
My final thoughts on the Boston Celtics are Mikhail Parisburg, where are you?
One of them coach.
Oh man, God, it's I think a lot of people underestimated Doc Rivers. I do think that Doc Rivers grew tired of Boston, and I think Boston kind of grew tired of him. They wouldn't come out and say it publicly because he won a championship, but I think this was a mutual parting, and it's going to be nice to see, see what happens, see how they grow. Last time when they went through this before Pearson, when Pearson got there, they were so bad. It's going to be interesting to watch this front office build this. Are they going to let old people retire on them? No. They didn't because they let Garnett and Pierce and all those guys go. So it's just going to be really interesting to see. They're going to have to build through the draft. Nobody is going to want to go to Boston. No players like to go to Boston. I mean, that's a fact.
Let's just be honest.
I've never seen a key free agent sign a max deal in Boston in my 34 years. So it's just going to be very interesting to watch, see how they build through the draft, see how this season goes, see what happens with Rondo. I'm like Rashad. I'll be watching. I'm interested. So that's the final thought I have on the Boston Celtics. So we're going to go ahead and move on from Boston. And we're going to go to, tell you in a minute, it's on the other coast.